All right, good morning, traders. Today is February 4th, 2026. My name is Coach Carignan. I'm the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. That is the day trading division of the Hit and Run Candlesticks family. Thank you, everybody out there in podcast land, digital land, cyberland. Thank you for subscribing to my content, following my content, liking my content. Special shout out, Bob Jordan, John Jordan, Kathy, Sarah Roasted. Thank you for sharing the content, getting the good word out there to the World Wide Web. Let's go ahead and take a look at the markets today. Before I get started, members e-learning on Thursday. All right, so I'll be in there between noon and probably till 3. If you don't see me in the trading room, that's where I'll be. You're all invited, and the way to get there is to come up here to your members page and right here in the combined e-room learning room, combined e-learning room right here. So just log in right there, put your credentials in, and you'll be in there. You'll be able to attend. All right, if you're looking for the videos afterwards, you will find them in the resources tab right here under e-learning replay. And these are all the videos there. Okay, and there's even more videos. Public webinar right here. Okay, another 200 videos under the public webinar video tab. All right, let's take a look at the market this morning. Let's do a summary from what happened yesterday. All right, so my SPY pivot this morning is 692.90. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. SPY made a higher high and a higher low, closing over a bullish trap and over the 17 EMA. Not too sure about that. Let me double check that. I don't think it was a bullish trap. All right. QQQ made an outside day, closing over a bullish trap. Do I have the right one? I have the wrong one. That's what happened. Let me get the right one up there. I knew something was wrong. Like, I don't remember us closing over bullish traps. All right, here we go. My SPY pivot this morning, 689.75. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Diamond Dow made a new all-time high yesterday. SPY and QQQ made outside days. That's higher highs and lower lows, closing underneath bearish crosses and underneath their 17 EMAs. FNGU also made an outside day, higher high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap and under the 17 EMA. Diamond Dow, of course you already know, made a new all-time high. IWM, higher low, higher high, closing inside a bearish trap over the 17. SPY closed with a 2-hour downtrend, 10-minute uptrend. Silver, higher low, higher high, closing inside a bearish trap under the 17. Silver trying to stage a comeback. Gold also trying to stage a comeback. Gold made a higher low and a higher high, closing inside a bearish trap over the 17. USO in an uptrend made a higher low and a higher high. Nice candle yesterday. And closed over a bullish trap over the 17. UNG inside day, that's a lower high and a higher low. Closed under a bearish cross and under the 17 EMA. US dollar index still in a daily downtrend, closed near 97.43. SPY max pain for today is 691 with a put to call ratio of about 1 put for each call that expires today at 4:15. Index options expire at 4:15. Security options expire at 4. If this is your first time seeing this, these are all in bullish daily uptrends over the 17 EMA. These are all in bearish daily downtrends under the 17 EMA. If they got a star, they're building out a launch pad or a bull flag from which to launch higher. If they got a little star over here, they're building out a bear flag or a platform from which to dive lower. All right, let's take a look at the markets today and see what we got going on. Start off with the SPY. Okay, here we are with the outside day. It's a higher high, lower low. You can see we closed under. See the 3 crosses under the white 8 EMA, so closed under a bearish cross. And you see the dots are red, so we closed under the 17 EMA. Okay, so still up there. Top of quadrant 4. Here's our April low. Still bullish and in an uptrend. We haven't broken anything yet. Okay, we did make a lower low, so we're now in a downtrend. So still bullish and in a downtrend. My bad, because we made a low here below the 17. Came back here 3 days later and made a lower low. So we're in a downtrend now. Not really moving down, though. Just going to say that right now. Okay, still bullish up there. So there's SPY. Weekly chart, still bullish and in an uptrend. Monthly chart, still bullish and in an uptrend. 2-hour chart. All right, we got the 3 EMA and the sticks underneath the 8. So we got 2-hour downtrend coming into the close from yesterday. 10-minute chart. We have a sticks and the 3 up over the 8 EMA. So we got a 10-minute uptrend coming into the close. Let's throw the pre-market on there. And let's take a peek at how I'd like to trade it. All right, so yesterday we had bullish activity. All right, consolidation over prior consolidation was really sloppy. But anyways, from yesterday, okay, I said that I had a bullish bias. And, of course, we did nothing but sell off. From the time we opened up all the way down to here, I said I'd be picking off the lows of the option candles. And I said to be prepared because it may look like this or it may look like this. Either way, looks like we got the worst of both of either scenario there. So price came all the way down here. Took a big hit on that one, all right, about 1,700, but managed to come back making over 6K by trading the reversal right here, right at 2:30 or 2 o'clock. Yeah, 2:30, 2:20. Traded the reversal all the way back up to VWAP, all right, so big hit there. So if I'm buying the lows of the candles, let's take a look at this morning. Okay, we got consolidation over prior consolidation. Same bullish bias this morning. All right, so we'll see what happens. If it's like this, you might want to just trade the downtrend or sit on your hands until the uptrend starts. We're still bullish up here. You can see, even though we're in a downtrend, all right, we're still up here at the top of quadrant 4. All right, so I'm still bullish. All the bigger time frames are bullish, and the daily, even though it's in a downtrend, it's really not that bearish. I mean, we did manage to pull back and close up here, so we'll see what happens. Again, I got a bullish bias, so I will probably be picking off the lows of my option candles for the pullback for a higher low, and then look for price to rally back up to the pre-market highs. We'll see what happens this morning. So there's SPY on the 10-minute. That's my plan. There's a game plan as well. All right, I'll zoom in here, okay. So we got green erases red, okay, over 694.15, okay. And then we got the pivot, 689.75. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. We got red erases green underneath this valley low right there. Underneath 685.10, that is a red erases green. I trade 2 days and 9 days till expiration. Friday options on the multiple of 5, specifically for the open interest. I like a lot of open interest because it usually equates to a tight bid-ask spread, as well as less slippage on my stop outs. All right, I like strikes $2 to $15 out of the money. And the reason for those is they cost less than the in-the-money options. You get much better performance from the in-the-money options, but I'd rather have less risk on the table. So I choose the out-of-the-money options, all right? I choose those because I don't like to have all my risk tied up into one option strike, all right? Because if you trade the in-the-money option, either the strike works or it's not working, if you got it tied up into one option strike and price moves around, which it does quite a bit. As you can see yesterday, it was started out 697 and we traded all the way down here to 684. Okay, that's it's quite a big difference. All right, 697, 684. Was what, $13 between the two? If you're trading one strike, you're stuck on that one strike if all of your capital or your risk capital is tied up on that one strike. So for that reason, I choose the out-of-the-money strikes, the out-of-the-money calls or puts or out-of-the-money options. All right, that way I'm not tied to one strike. I can move to the next one without disrupting my my max risk right there. Okay, so I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. If a 10-minute uptrend manifests down here, long before the green erases red entry, not opposed to trading it, just like to see it break the bullish 10-minute rubber band candle. And on the reverse side, if a 10-minute downtrend happens to manifest up here, I'm not opposed to trading it. I just like to see it break the 10-minute bearish rubber band candle. QQQ's got a game plan as well. On QQQ, we've got green erases red over 621. Red erases green under 611.35. Pivot 616.80. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Again, same option plan on QQQ. 2 days, I like the Friday options on the multiple of 5. I like the strikes $2 to $15 out of the money. I like the 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I like the 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. Let's look at QQQ on the 10-minute. Let's pick up a cleaner chart. So coming into the close here, you see we got a 10-minute uptrend. The sticks and the 3 are up over the 8. That's the thin white line right there. Both pointed up. So 10-minute uptrend coming into the close on the QQQ. All right, on the 2-hour chart for the QQQ. All right, 2-hour downtrend. We got the 3 and the sticks underneath the 8 EMA. So we got a 2-hour downtrend coming into the close on the daily chart. Okay, that's going to be not this one. Big candle here, outside day, higher high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap or a bearish cross underneath the 17 EMA. You can see this with the quad lines on there. Okay, you're at the top of quadrant 4. All right, and you're in a downtrend there because you got a low here, you made a lower low. So you're in a downtrend and you're at the top of quadrant 4, which is bullish, but in a downtrend. Still consolidating in this bull flag up here. So that's still bullish. On the weekly time frame, still bullish and in an uptrend. Monthly time frame, still bullish and in an uptrend. Getting a little wicky up here, some tails and some wicks. A lot of slop going on QQQ on weekly chart or monthly chart right up there. All right, let's take a look at Diamond Dow. We'll take a look at it on the daily chart. And on Diamond Dow, they made a new all-time high. So that's drop the mic. It doesn't get any better than that, all right? Bull flagging up here. I kind of figured that was going to have a new all-time high eventually. You can see they didn't give up the higher ground. See how price moves up, holds the higher ground. All right, if you're looking for something to buy, that would be the biggest characteristic I would look for. Evidence of price moving up and holding the higher ground. Doesn't matter if you're looking at NVIDIA or AMD or Intel, gold, silver. That's the characteristic that I would always look for, is price moves up and holds the higher ground, okay, as opposed to moving up and giving it up. Okay, that would be what I would like to see. You got better chances of making new highs with that product, all right, than you would with something that continually goes up and gives it up. Okay, so here's Diamond Dow, new all-time high. That's bullish and in an uptrend. All right, let's take a look at IWM. Chart's not showing. Can you refresh, Mike? Is anybody else having a problem seeing the chart? No issue here. Please hit F5, Mike 42. F5 should refresh your, yep. Please hit F5 or refresh your chat room browser tab, whatever that is. A tab on your browser that has the chat room on it. Maybe refresh that or refresh over on the right hand side. I would show it to him like this, but he can't see anything. Normally you just hit this and you refresh. If you can't, you hit this and refresh, or you press F5. All right, IWM. Let me know, Mike, if you got it fixed. Okay, IWM. This is today's candle. Higher low, higher high, closing in a bearish trap, but over the flat 17 EMA in the middle of quadrant 4, closing under the all-time high anchored VWAP. That is still bullish and in an uptrend right there. Okay, that's IWM, still bullish and in an uptrend. Let's take a look at Stinker. Stinker puts in an outside day, higher high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap, closing under the falling 17, closing under the all-time high anchored VWAP. Back here at the midpoint, that's neutral and still in a downtrend. Stinker's not helping us out. All right, so there's FNGU. Let's take a look at silver and gold. Silver puts in a higher low and a higher high, but closed under a bearish trap and under the 17 and not in the upper third. Okay, so that's still neutral and in an uptrend. Neutral and in an uptrend, okay? They haven't broken anything, so they're not buried, so they're not in a downtrend yet. Even with this horrendous red candle right here, okay, still not in a downtrend. If they come through and make a lower low, that will be a downtrend. Right now, they're still in an uptrend with a huge pullback here, okay? And they're not in the upper third, so they're just neutral. Okay, they're in the upper third today, but as of close yesterday, not in the upper third, so they're just neutral and still in an uptrend. Okay, that's silver. Let's take a look at gold. All right, here's gold. Gold is still in quadrant 4, so that's still bullish. They haven't broken anything. If they were to take out, see this low that pokes below the 17, that would be a downtrend. They didn't do it, so they're still in an uptrend on gold and still bullish because they're still in quadrant 4 on the daily chart. Let's take a look at USO. Got to see this candle. Nice candle yesterday. Higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap. Okay, over the rising 17 EMA, over the 4-year high anchored VWAP, up here in the upper third, so that's bullish, and in an uptrend for USO. Okay, USO, UNG, we need them to hold those highs, not give them up, okay? Remember, no going up and giving it up. We need to see them hold the highs, okay? Either that or climb back up there after you put in this this higher low. They need to climb back up here and consolidate. Okay, as bullish and in an uptrend on USO. Let's take a look at UNG. So UNG is this green candle here. Inside day, obviously, a lower high, higher low, closing under a bearish cross right here, because the 3 crosses under the 8 or under a bearish trap, under the 17. All right, back in quadrant, show it to you, back in quadrant 1. Okay, it's a 12-month high anchored VWAP right there, back in quadrant 1, but still in an uptrend because they haven't broken anything. They'd have to come all the way down here and break that low in order to be in a downtrend. So still bearish, but in an uptrend, even with this horrendous pullback right here. That's UNG. Let's take a look at technicals. T2101, and we're losing more and more participation day by day. Okay, see the participation is kind of melting off. All right, so there's less and less interest in trading securities up here in the high area. Not to mention, we had a big day down yesterday, and we had less participation in the movement down, which is a good sign. But the day before, we had a nice move up, and we had less participation in the move up day, which is a bad sign. So I'm just going to call it a wash. Other than that, participation is getting thinner and thinner day by day. As you can see from this high, it just keeps melting off. This is the reversal zone right in here. We're getting closer and closer to a reversal area. We'll see what happens. That is the absolute breadth. Just substitute absolute breadth for participation, and this is the participation index. That's T2101. T2122, this would be yesterday's price action. We had the bearish head and shoulders look up here, and we did come tumbling down. We left off right here, closing up in the buyer's chop zone, the day before. And you can see we made our way down to the midpoint, made a lower high, and then from there, the bears were inspired to make the lower low, and they did right inside the seller's chop zone. Okay, so price action. The only good thing that happened here for me on T2122 is two good things. Okay, got a low here. We made a higher low. Okay, that's one good thing, and closing over the midpoint. That's about it. That's all I have to report as far as good things. Other than that, we spent the majority of the day in the seller's chop zone, not my favorite place to be. All right, so there's T2122. T2123 put in a new all-time high yesterday, okay? So here's T2123. There's the high right there. You can see it clearly shoots over the top of this bull flag. See, price moves up, holds that higher ground. So new all-time high on T2123. Now we left off. We got a low, and then we made a lower low. So we got a low, a high, lower high, and then a lower low. So we left off. We're in a downtrend. We'll be in a downtrend till they take out this high or put in another equal low and take out that high. Either one. T2123 up over the 200, rising 200 SMA. That's bullish and in an uptrend on the 15-minute chart. Actually, bullish but in a downtrend because they made a lower low. So bullish and in a downtrend after making that lower low on the 15-minute chart. 3-bar chart is bullish and in an uptrend. Okay, 3-bar chart, you can see price moves up, holds the higher ground. I'm telling you, if you're looking for something to invest in, this is what I would look for, is a move up and a hold of the higher ground. Not just 1, 2 candles. I'm talking 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 candles, okay? Right? Not just 2 candles. I want a bunch of candles, like 5 or 6 or more, okay? Move up, hold the higher ground, and then what do you get? A breakout to the upside. Okay, you want them to show you that they have the strength to hold or do a chin up for 2-3 hours, or plank for 3-4 hours like that. So you move up, hold the higher ground, and what do we get? You get rewarded with a new all-time high. What do you get? You get rewarded with a new all-time high. See that? That's the characteristic I would look at and I would want to find in the stocks that I'm buying or investing in, is a move up and a hold of the higher ground area. All right? That's T2123. 3-bar chart. again, new all-time high yesterday. Obviously, here's the April low. There's the new all-time high. That's bullish and in an uptrend. Let's take a look at Stinker on the 15. Nothing good to report on Stinker on the 15. Okay, so you can see we gapped up. Bears filled the gap. And we made a low here. We made a lower low. So we're still in a downtrend. Clearly underneath the VWAP. See how the VWAP pointed down? So Stinker on the 15 is still bearish and in a downtrend underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP, which is the pink line underneath the falling 200 SMA right here. Okay, so price action. There's FNGU. All right. So they make a lower low. They made an equal low right here. So need to see FNGU rally back up here and get up on top of the 200. We'll find out. Not looking good right now for FNGU, all right, or the markets with, these are the big cap stocks, okay? So when they move as a pack, they can really drag those indexes up with it. And the fact that we made on T2123 new all-time highs without the big cap stocks, that's amazing right there. Okay, that's what inflation will do. I know inflation sucks because everything costs more, but what happens is they're now selling the same goods and services for a higher price point. Okay, means they're taking in more revenue on the top line because they're selling the same amount, hopefully. All right, for a higher price point. Gives them higher earnings. Of course, higher earnings, all right, mean what? They're going to need a higher price for an investment inside them, all right? So, and hence, what do we get? T2123 making new all-time highs. This is what inflation does, okay? Sucks for the consumer, but for the investor, you get markets that rally and make new all-time highs. So there's FNGU, there's T2123. Let's check out the dollar index. And you can see right here, here's the 2025 high. We go into a downtrend and into a big bear flag. Okay, currently there's a high, there's a low, there's a lower high, there's a lower low. We're still in a downtrend until they make a higher high. Still in the bear flag right there. Okay, we broke all of these valleys. Our major support, we were above it. That was major support. We broke major support and we're consolidating underneath major support. I don't know if we linger here too long, I'd expect a breakdown. Looks like we got one about 4 days ago. But the problem is no follow through on that breakdown. So who knows? Maybe we got to go back up and test the highs one more time. We'll find out. This is the U.S. dollar index. All right, let's take a look at the economic package, and we'll come back and start the day. All right, so here's Max Payne, 691. Let me refresh it. They like to change it on me. Okay, still 691 for SPY puts and calls that expired today. All right, still 691, and the put-to-call ratio is 1.04 puts for each call that expires today on the Max Payne. Earnings. All right, so tonight, yesterday was AMD. All right, let's take a look at what AMD, because I said all eyes are going to be on AMD, all right, because that's part of that AI community, all right? So let's take a look at AMD real quick, see what happened with them. Let's take a look at them on, let's take a look at with the hourly chart. Okay, so here's the hourly chart. And let's put the pre-market on there. All right, so clearly market did not like what AMD had to say. All right, or whatever results were printed from AMD. Okay, so AMD getting a sell-off right now, okay, which is not very good for the AI community because they are heavily dependent on chip stocks and graphics cards, all right? And this is what AMD does the best, is chip stocks, is microchips and graphics cards, all right? And that's a big part of the AI community, all right? Or the AI resources, all right? So here we are getting a little pullback right now. We'll find out in the morning if they can recover this, but doesn't look good right now. That's the hourly chart for AMD, okay? So I said all eyes are going to be on that. Surprised, even with SPY, we were consolidating over over the pre-market. All right, so there must be something lingering that they like to hear because AMD surely did not support the AI community or the tech rally that we're currently in. All right, so keep an eye on that. Okay, go back to earnings. So this morning, or excuse me, this evening, we've got almost $8.3 trillion, almost, okay? $8.3 trillion of market cap reporting just in one company, and that would be Alphabet or Google, all right? Eli Lilly's going to report. They're going to, you know what I'm going to do? I can never see this. So I'm going to increase it. Now I can see it. Okay, so, all right. So we got almost $1 trillion, 987 billion. Okay, it's going to report this morning, Eli Lilly, and that's probably with the pharmaceutical community or sector. Same with AbbVie, same thing. $398 billion going to report this morning with Eli Lilly. Toyota Motor Corp, $302 billion. Still looking for the P&L or not sure when they're going to announce sometime today. Novartis, all right, also with the pharmaceutical community or sector. And Novo Nordisk, same thing, all right. Novartis, 298 billion. Novo Nordisk, 263 billion. Those will also be reporting this morning. Okay, the big one's going to be tonight, 8.3 in market cap, and then we've got Qualcomm, another big part of the AI community, 163 billion reports tonight, right alongside Alphabet. Let's take a look at page 2. We got UBS, 151 billion, Boston Scientific, 136 billion, ARM Holdings, 113 billion, GlaxoSmithKline, 107 billion, CME Group, 104 billion, McKesson Corporation, 104 billion dollars. A lot of familiar names, but nothing that's going to move the markets. Not like Alphabet right here. Okay, this will have a big hold on the market as far as going up or down. Will be dependent on how they report tonight and their outlook and guidance. Okay, for tomorrow we've got Amazon, $2.5 trillion. They're going to report tomorrow. That will be a big boost to the retail sector. Like to see how they report because that's going to be that could really help out the markets if they come in strong. We'll find out. Shell Corporation, $220 billion. Linde, $214 billion. Banco Bilbao, $149 billion. Sony Corp, $133 billion. ConocoPhillips, $125 billion. Bristol Myers, $113 billion. KKR, $101 billion. Again, more familiar names. Nothing's going to move the markets. Keep an eye on the chip sectors and the big cap stocks, okay? So Amazon, keep an eye on that one, all right? That, as well as Sony Corp, keep an eye on that. Sony and Samsung also help produce components that work or integrate with AI. All right, so here's Amazon. Keep an eye on that one for Friday. What do we got? Philip Morris, 175 billion. Ubiquity, 34 billion. Again, more familiar names. Nothing really going to move the market here. Not even Philip Morris. All right, not like tech. Tech is going to move the market. Tech and big cap are going to move the markets, like AMD, Intel, Micron, microchips, Taiwan Semiconductors, Broadcom, all right? Those are going to be market movers, all right? Amazon and Walmart also big market movers, okay? So, but the rest of this, not really big market movers, even though they got a lot of market cap out there. Let's take a look at the economic calendar for today. We've got MBA mortgage applications at 7, ADP employment report 8:15, Treasury refunding announcement 8:30, PMI composite final 9:45, ISM services index at 10, petroleum report at 10:30. Tomorrow we have Challenger job cut report 7:30, jobless claims 8:30, gas report 10 o'clock. On Friday, this was the main event, and now that I see it's the delayed report. So still may be a big market mover, even though it's the delayed report. 8:30 on Friday, the employment situation. Now, last time we got a delayed report on the employment situation, it did move the market, so keep an eye on that one tomorrow. Those are, and whenever you get an employment situation, those are typically going to be a market mover. All right, then we got a rig count at 1 o'clock and consumer credit at 3. All right, that's it for me for this morning. All right, so I will be back in about 45 minutes and we'll open up the markets, trade them live, see what else happened new in the market. So looking at silver and gold, and notice silver moved up. Silver's holding that higher ground. Okay, just want to point that out. Okay, silver moved up, consolidating over prior price action and consolidation. All right, and holding the higher ground. And you can see it's staging a little breakout right now. All right, silver could be a rally. Okay, there was the middle finger. Here's the line coming off the middle finger, back to this trend line right here. So maybe back to 95. All right, which actually coincides with, guess what? The valley between two peaks. All right, so that would be my target. Just saying. All right, okay. So keep an eye on this. This is breaking out, consolidating, and then breakout. This will be a good one to come all the way back up here to here. Nothing's changed with silver other than, well, it was a washout of all the, how am I going to say it? There was a lot of positions that were held in margin, all right? So it was a margin washout, all right? Silver's still the same silver, so it could come all the way back up to here. Not to say that it makes new all-time highs, but I would look for a possible rally back to this downtrend line and that valley between the two peaks. Nice comeback. I mean, we were down here at 68. We already made it to 78. Now we're up to 82. Maybe we make it to 88. All right, and then $7 more puts you right here, right at the 95 area. All right. All right, I'll see you guys in 45 minutes. Everybody have a profitable day. Thank you so much.